So let's talk about e-waste. What is it and what do we do with it? E-waste is electronic waste. Electronic waste is distinguished by the relatively large amount of highly toxic substances it contains. E-waste products, like computers and television, contain lead, mercury, lithium, arsenic, cadmium, and others. They also contain valuable materials like gold, silver, copper, and palladium. Like paper, plastic, and metal waste, e-waste is theoretically recyclable. However, the process is dangerous and laborious, which makes it notably more expensive. Policies and laws have been put in place in many countries, including the United States, to require and incentivize technology companies' responsibility to lower their environmental costs. However, financially motivated companies generally choose the least expensive option available to them, which leads to some cut corners. Although many companies advertise their environmentally responsible recycling programs, where the consumer brings their old e-waste products to the company to be recycled, very few companies actually process the e-waste themselves. Instead, it's cheaper, and therefore preferable, to sell the e-waste to brokers, who then sell it on to other countries to be processed. The workers who process this e-waste are from poor rural areas, where a day's work of dismantling products filled with hazardous materials can generate a few dollars of income. They have minimal, ineffective protective gear, and with no place to dispose of the rejected leftovers, often dump them in the waterways near their homes. Entire populations of these exploited people then use that polluted, toxic water to bathe, drink, and care for their families. Actions like the export of e-waste run directly afoul of international law. The Basel Ban Amendment prohibits the export of hazardous waste from countries within the EU, OECD, and Liechtenstein to all other countries. The goal of the amendment is to protect developing countries, like those in Asia and Africa, from being forced to absorb the environmental costs of developed nations. The amendment became law in May of 2019, although it is yet to be ratified by several major countries. The US, Canada, Japan, Australia, Russia, Mexico, and several others all have yet to ratify the amendment, but the United States is the only one of those to have also failed to ratify the original Basel Convention, which was adopted in 1989. In a report from the U.S. Government Accountability Office, they found that more than a few dozen U.S. companies were willing to illegally export hazardous electronic products. The report attributes the ease with which these companies can circumvent the laws to negligible EPA enforcement. The report points out that the motion for ratification was approved through to Congress, where it stalled before it could be passed on to the President. There are many ways we can approach the global problem of improperly handled e-waste. The Basel Ban Amendment is already in place. In the United States, we should be pushing towards ratifying the amendment and enforcing our existing policies. We need to hold companies accountable for their economic costs. We can do this by spreading awareness about e-waste exports from recycling programs. America is a crucial participant in many global economic initiatives. We can't let this one be where we fall short.